What will we sing? Happiness? Sukhamayantikam. Controlling senses is what the verse is about, 21. Is that what we spoke about?
The third definition of yoga.
The third definition of yoga. Very good. I gave you all homework also, right? Yes? The week before I gave you homework.
No, you gave us homework,
Yes, yes, yes.
Be like the wind, let
Wind.
actions go.
So easy. You enjoy being like the wind. No, too many people, and few people. Y'all can talk about homework. Okay. Yam labdva cha param labham manyate nadikam tata yasmin stito na dukkena gurunapi vichalyate. I think we did this one also, right? Because I remember talking about Guru. Tam vidyat dukha samyoga. Yeah, this was the verse we spoke on. Viyogam yoga samjitam. Sanischayena yogdayo. Yogo nirvinna chetasa. This was 23 is the definition. Detaching from our attachment to pain.
Did we not do this?
Yes, we did do it. Do I want to say anything more on it? Actually, we can start with the next verse. Nothing ever gets missed. It will come somewhere. Sankalpa prabhavan kamans tyaktva sarvana sheshata manaseva indriya gramam viniyamya samantata Shanay Shanay-rupamared Buddhya dhriti grahitya Atma samstam mana kritva Nakinchit api chinnatyet. This Shanay Shanay Upamared is often quoted. Can you all hear me? Even though background there's lots of construction noise. You can't hear the construction noise? Okay, great. Shanay Shanay Upamared. It's this slowly. This is, I think, it can be our logo for spirituality. To progress slowly. Patience is quite an important part of the spiritual journey. And so in the verse before it is said, no, in this verse itself, Dhriti. Dhriti is fortitude. It's my unbending resolve. It's my ability to keep going. Dhriti. It's like not giving up. So the ability to be patient and the ability to not give up. Even when we see in Vibhishan Gita, when Ramchandraji is defining the chariot of success, he says that these are the wheels of the chariot. The first one is courage, and the second one is dhriti. The background noise will be there now. What to do? This is Hong Kong. So what are we doing slowly, slowly? Buddhi, Atma Samsthanam Manakritva. We are slowly establishing the mind in the Atman. So the example given by the scriptures, not here in the Gita, but elsewhere, is if you think of our mind as a bucket, and this water is inside the bucket, and we feel the bucket is separate and the water inside the bucket is separate. But if you take that bucket and you put it in the ocean, so you push the bucket into the water in the ocean, then the bucket's in the ocean, and the water inside the bucket is the ocean, and the water outside the bucket is the ocean. And so this is that line of Atma Samsthanam Manakritva. Submerge the mind into Atman, submerge the mind into Brahman. And so for those of you who are listening to Viveka-Chudamani, these last few verses in Viveka-Chudamani has been very much these meditative verses on or even the Upanishads, when we study the Upanishads, when it gives you, the instruction is to think about Brahman as infinite, to think about Brahman as purity, to think about Brahman as indestructible, and then to just keep the mind in that concept maybe, but concept would be a thought, and then thought still makes the mind active. So the word that gets used is bhav. What does bhav translate as? The feeling of. So it's not that I'm thinking something, but I'm feeling it. And this is where words really fall short, because I'm not even feeling it like a feeling. I'm feeling it like the feeling of me. How do I feel me? I just feel I'm me. So that feeling, not I feel anger, not I feel like having a sandwich, not that kind of feeling. The feeling of this is me, right? And it's so natural and it's so spontaneous. That bhav is Atman, which is pure and indestructible, of the nature of consciousness, in the sense of security and fullness. So the mind usually thinks of itself as this entity, and it usually gets busy in thinking, I have to do this, I have to become this, I have to conquer this. So we take that mind, which is so busy doing, and make it into being. And so this is the shift in spirituality. In Grahastha, or in everyday life, or in Vyavaharik living, in Maya, there is doing and there is becoming. And in spiritual life, there is being. Being what? Being nothing. It's just being in this present moment. Being happy. Being love. Being peace. So, how to get there? Shanay, Shanay. Slowly, slowly. Slowly, slowly build up the thought. And so, because I've been in the ashram a while, people will very often say, quote back, so they'll listen to my class and then they'll quote back the class to me when something is happening in their life. So they're telling me, I had a really hard day, and then that person said this to me, and this person did that, and then this email came, but I know what you're going to tell me. You're going to tell me it's all unreal and I'm just Brahman. And when we say that, Or, I got into a huge fight and then my husband made me so angry. And then I just said this to him and I know what you're going to tell me. You're going to tell me it all doesn't matter because I should have just been calm, and happiness is not from my husband, but it comes from within. And so we spit out these things as though they snippets of information. And that's how we've collected them. We've collected them as snippets of information. But actually, we have to, in that moment when we're feeling all those things, when we're feeling the anger or when we're feeling fear or when we're feeling flustered, the idea is to close eyes and be. Be what? Well, whatever it is that I'm feeling. And to just know that if I be it completely, it disappears because it's not real. Because in being, unreal cannot last. And it will fade away, it will disappear. Because if I stay completely in being, the mind will calm down. And in that calmer mind, whatever restlessness that was there, we come to see that it loses its power. The restlessness only has power because we give it the power by giving it the attention. Not only do we give it attention because we keep thinking about it, we give it realness. So somebody says something to me and I'm really upset about it, and I make it real by thinking about it and thinking more about it and feeling it, and then not really wanting to feel it, so pushing it away or analyzing it or saying, I shouldn't be feeling this. And so much thinking now has happened, and so much doing has happened, so much desiring has happened. Whereas if somebody says something and I'm upset and I just close eyes, and I know it's not always possible to do, right? Sometimes the day is very busy. You cannot just sit down for 2 minutes and close eyes. But when possible, maybe by the end of the day, and just be. I don't judge it, don't decide I should, don't reject it, don't want it to be other than what it is, just be in that moment and see. So second thing is to see. So the first thing is to be in the present moment. Second thing is to see. Just see what's there. What's there? We're seeing what's there. So if I'm scared, just see my scared, see my fear, just see my what it feels like and how big it is, and the more I see it, like I said, it will disappear. Because in consciousness, in that being and in that seeing, unreal cannot continue. The minute I bring light, darkness cannot continue. The minute I bring real, unreal cannot continue. The minute I bring knowledge, ignorance cannot continue. And so what happens is, it's not that I should be patient, I should be forgiving, I shouldn't be attached. That's not what I'm seeing. Whereas this is what we end up doing, right? We hear the scriptures and then we end up with these rules. I shouldn't be attached. I shouldn't have desires. But that's not being, nor is that seeing. That's making up rules and having judgments and then wanting to become. But just the mind has to abide in being and seeing. So there's no rules, there's no doing, there's no becoming, just whatever is there. And so the technique, when we were studying in the ashram, the technique that Acharya-ji, he coined a, what's it called? Acronym. Rivaj, R-E-V-A-J. This is, Rivaj means tradition. Yeah, rivaj means tradition. So this is the tradition we need to adopt for our thinking. So what does R stand for? Resist. Very often when a thought happens, we resist it. I don't want. So it can be something as simple as a desire creeps up, maybe something I think which is too sensuous, or maybe it could be something as simple as food, but I'm trying to diet. Or maybe it's, wanting to change another person and I know I can't change them. So a desire comes up and I resist it. Or I get angry and I think I shouldn't get angry. So I resist it. Resist means push away, don't want. No, right? It's literally that little 2-year-old kid in all of us that keeps saying, no. 2-year-olds only know how to say no. They say it with such joy. No, that's us resisting, right? Some thought comes into our head and we say, no. But it's such a strong thought. What's a strong thought? The no. I'm not saying nah. I'm saying no. Look how much intensity there is. And I mentioned this before, the stronger the emotion, the more weight that thought has. Which class did I say that in now? I don't remember. Anyways, now you'll know it. R is for resist. E is for indulge. So we think something. So we think, I want to buy a massage chair. Then I think about, I'll sit in it every day when I come home from work. It will be so comfortable. It will be so nice. And then this one, I'll get this thing. Then I'll put the aromatherapy. Then I don't have to go spa. I'll have the spa in my own house. So indulge. I'll build up the whole scenario in my head. Or I want to go to Maldives because, it's sinking. Before it sinks, I better go. Then I imagine the hotel room. Then I imagine the food. Then I imagine the view. Then I imagine who I'll go with. And then all the photos I'll take. And then how I'll get the reactions on Instagram about the photos. So one thought, indulge, becomes a whole movie. Or if you're watching Korean drama, it's a 25-hour series. 25 hours is my daydreaming about that one thing. Easy for us to daydream 24 hours about one thing. Yeah. Okay, so indulge. Resisting takes a lot of energy. Indulging takes a lot of time. From one thought, it's become 25,000 thoughts. So am I being? No. Am I seeing? No. I'm either resisting or indulging. And that's what most of us do with most thoughts. All day long, as we are thinking thoughts, we either indulge the thought or we resist the thought. And even functional thoughts of like, should I send this email? Should I write this word or that word? This word sounds a bit cold and uncooperative. This word sounds more warm, but then they might think I'm a doormat and take advantage. Which word should I use? And we can, just one word in an email, we can spend so much time thinking about. And maybe it's functional thinking and I need to think it through, but sometimes it's just emotional thinking. Because I desperately want an outcome, or I desperately want to be perceived a certain way. So even in our everyday life, so much indulging. So I'm walking down the street and I have to pick up milk and bread. Then I go into the shop. Should I pick up this bread? Should I pick up this seasoning? Should I pick up this biscuit? Should I pick up this? All indulging, right? And that's from outside world, sense pleasures, stimulating my senses. So from one thought, it becomes many thoughts. From picking up milk to make the cup of tea, I now have biscuit with it. I now have snack with it. I now have, call my friend to have the biscuit with me. So it becomes a whole. Indulge, it becomes bigger, becomes a story, becomes a scenario, becomes a vasana. I'm not even exaggerating. It becomes a vasana. Indulge. That's how vasanas are created, because we indulge thoughts. As simple as that. Wow. Okay, resist. Even vasanas are created by resisting. Because then we become very caruso, or we become very insensitive, or we become very judgmental, prejudiced, bias. Yeah, resisting and indulging. We're doing all day long and creating vasanas. We're very busy people. Okay, so resist, indulge, and then V. Now V doesn't happen so much in everyday life, but it happens inside in our head. It's that self-talk that we do. V means verbalize, right? So I will say what I am thinking. So I thought it, and then I'll say, why am I thinking this? And then, but it happens more in meditation. So I'm sitting straight in the seat of meditation and I'll think, I'm not thinking anything, which of course is a thought. So I am verbalizing. This meditation is very good today, verbalizing. Or just basically it's called running commentary in our head, our self-talk, verbalizing. Like it's you don't have to say it, but we say it. Like sometimes we'll be putting the chocolate in our mouth and we're saying to ourselves, what are you doing? Right? Verbalizing. We verbalize what we're thinking. So thoughts happen at different levels. I forgot the Sanskrit name of the levels. Okay, never mind the Sanskrit names. So thoughts happen without words. And then we put words to them. When the thought doesn't have words in them, it's not such a strong thought. And it can just disappear easily. Of course, the more subtle it is, the more powerful it is. But the moment we verbalize it, it's now a concrete, solid thought. And then when I speak it, well, then it's really become a manifestation in the world. So we go from non-verbal to verbal. And the minute we go to verbal, it's now more concrete. So verbalizing. Then A, R-E-V, A. A is analyzing. Why did I think that thought? Am I attached to this person? I don't think I'm attached to the person, but if I'm thinking this thought, I must be attached to the person. Why am I attached to this person? Analyzing. Or you can call it causation hunting. Full-time hobby of spiritual seekers. Why am I like this? Why am I thinking this? Why don't I have more discipline? Why do I have this vasana? Why aren't I more devoted? Why did Swaminiji say that? I think she was talking to me. Does she know? What is she trying to tell me? The same thing I'm telling everybody else, but no, in my head, it will become this big thing. Analyzing, over-analyzing, causation hunting. And then the last one is J, judgment. This is good, this is bad. I am so tamasic. I keep thinking about falling asleep in my meditation. How will I get moksha? All I do is fall asleep. So tamasic I am. Some papa karma I must have done in my last life that I cannot sit even for 5 minutes in meditation. What was this papa that I did in my last life? Why did I do that papa? Because now I want to meditate in this life. So we go from judgment to analysis to back to judgment to back to analysis. So from verbalizing into judgment. So if I verbalize, I am cold, then judgment. Why should I think about cold? I should have mottatiksha. I should not bother about the cold. And then judgment, then come back to, no, really it is cold. I have to look after the body, judgment. So what are we doing? Rivaj. We are indulging, resisting, verbalizing, analyzing, judging. Judging ourselves, judging everyone else, judging the world, judging the Shastras, judging Guru, judging everything. So many judgments. What is meditation? Chup. No indulging. analyzing, no resisting, indulging, verbalizing, analyzing, judgment. And now, because I've taught you this, you're going to sit and judge each thought. Am I indulging? Am I resisting? Am I analyzing? You're going to judge the rivage. Welcome to the world of Maya. It's good fun, entertaining. So we start with in the seat of meditation. Why? Because we're trying to be. In being, I'm not resisting, I'm not analyzing, I'm not judging, I'm just being. I'm scared. Yeah, I'm being scared. I'm not judging. I should not be scared. I'm not judging that. I'm not analyzing. Why am I scared? I'm not verbalizing. I'm so scared. I'm so scared. I'm not scared. Right? Not indulging it and watching horror movies to become more scared. Not resisting it, trying not to be scared. I'm just scared. Actually, I'm not even scared. Scaredness is there. I am seeing scared. Be, see. Then suddenly it's not me that's scared, and I can just see scared. And then there's this small little gap between me and scared. Awesome. Awesome when that happens. Because I can just see it. I think, that's what it looks like. And then no resisting, no need to push it away. Let it be there. How long? As long as it's there. Right? Rainy season in Hong Kong. Sky is very often overcast. How long will it be overcast? As long as it's overcast. Then will the sun shine? It's shining now only. Even while it's overcast. But I can't see it. I don't have to see it, it's shining. I can know that I can see the overcast because it's shining. So it must be there. So then let it be. Wind will come, clouds will go. I'll see the sun. I'll think, what a nice clear day it is today. Don't enjoy it too much. It will go. No need to hold on to anything. Don't hold on to clear skies. Don't hold on to overcast.
But then if I am scared, and then I'm just trying to be,
Huh.
the thought will go, who's scared?
The thought will go, who's scared?
Yeah, who's scared?
Huh? Then no, watch that. Just watch whatever is there. Any thought that comes, just watch that thought. Anyway, one thought cannot be sustained because mind is a flow of thoughts and thoughts won't stay. Thoughts will keep flowing. So when they keep flowing, you just keep watching them.
Fully watch.
Yeah,
You
just
don't
watch.
Think that the mind is scared or the body is scared.
Yeah, we're just watching. We're just watching. Whatever is there in that moment of time, we are just watching. Okay, so this is, we can try now for a few moments. What's the time? Yeah, we got time. Rivaj. So if y'all want to get up and stand and stretch, you can. And I'll get y'all to sit back down. Okay, if you're sitting on the floor, cross your legs. If you're sitting on the chair, both feet flat on the ground, hip width apart. And gently, slowly, take a deep breath in. Slow, gentle breath out. If you haven't already, Close your eyes. Continue with slow, deep breaths in, soft breaths out. The mind is defined as a flow of thoughts, just as a river is a flow of water. To help us see that flow, watch your breath. Watch your breath as you breathe in. Watch your breath as you breathe out. Watch the constant movement of the inhalation and exhalation as a flow. Now become aware that you are watching your breath. So become aware of you and the breath and the small gap between you and your breath. Which makes you able to watch the breath. Now you can let awareness of the breath fade away and your breath go back to your regular normal breathing. And just stay in the present moment and stay in that awareness. The mind is a flow of thoughts, just as a river is a flow of water. And just watch the thoughts as they come, as they go. And then when a thought rises in the mind, try and watch the thought and notice that you can see the thought. Be aware of you, the seer, the gap between you and the thought that's allowing you to see. And the thought is the scene. And in seeing, there's no resisting, no indulging, no verbalizing, no analyzing, no judging, just simply seeing. And so without me talking for the next few moments, just be in conscious awareness. Just see whatever comes and goes. The moment you become aware of any kind of thought buildup from resisting, indulging, verbalizing, analyzing, or judgment, bring the mind back to being and seeing. If you need to help create the sense of seer, go back to noticing your breath. Notice the gap between you, who can see, the breath, the seen, the gap, the seeing. Once you are comfortable in being the seer, let go of focus of the breath and go back to observing your thoughts. Take a deep breath in. Slowly, gently breathing out. Become aware of your surroundings, day and time. Bring your hands together in front of your heart, bowing down. And whenever you're ready, in whichever way that is comfortable to you, bring yourself back to open eyes. Ultimately, meditation is only ever Sakshi Bhav. Sakshi means witness, or what I've been talking about as seeing. Any other technique in meditation is preparation. It's practice of concentration, practice of purity. Ultimately, meditation can only ever be being and seeing. And so, Shanay, slowly, we continuously train our mind to stay in being. And in the seat of meditation, we're trying to do it. But even in the slowly, as we do it in the seat of meditation, it becomes like a skill we learn. You know, when you learn a skill, even like if you're practicing yoga and you learn posture, then slowly you start to use that posture throughout the day, not only in the yoga class. Yeah. Or if you're a singer and you learn breathing and you learn to use your voice from your stomach, then even when you're not singing, you already start practicing using the voice coming from the stomach. So whenever we learn a skill, then we're able to do it outside of where we're using it. So in the same way here, when we learn a skill in meditation, it will just happen. We don't have to try and make it happen. It will just happen. So, but the first instruction here is in verse number 24, Sankalpa Prabhavan Kaman. So giving up Sankalpa. Sankalpa is thoughts. Thoughts are, in Sanskrit, the word for thought, there's like, gosh, so many different types of thoughts. But in this verse, and very often in the Gita when Sankalpa is used, it's used in terms of there's Sankalpa and Vikalpa. Vikalpa is when I change the thought. Sankalpa is when I make the thought. In this way, in this verse, in this instant, Sankalpa can mean many, many, many different things. So in meditation, it's, or rather, not no. So just, let's say, oh, that was a perfect example of it. So I think one thing and then I don't think it. So I was going to say one thing and then I think, no, don't say it that way. Say it another way. Or if I think, let me have lunch first. No, let me finish my errand first. So I have a thought and then I cancel the thought. Yeah. All right. And it doesn't matter what thought it can be. It can be a good thought or it can be a bad thought. It can be, let me diet. No, that's a waste of time. Don't diet. So Sankalpa is making the thought. Vikalpa is canceling the thought. We do this a lot throughout the day. Make the thought, cancel the thought, make the thought, cancel the thought. And takes up a lot of our energy and it makes our mind weak. So the first instruction is always, and you might think it's kindergarten and you might think we don't need to do it, but that's always going to be the first instruction. Whether you're doing Bhagavad Gita, whether you're doing Upanishads, whether you're studying any religion, whether you're studying in psychology or in karate or in any kind of discipline whatsoever, the first instruction is always going to be control your senses. Tyaktva saman asheshata manasa indriya gramam. How many times in the Gita does it says indriya granam? I wonder, in the 700 verses at least? I think at least 300 verses would say it. Should give someone the job of sitting and counting. Why would Gita say something so often? Obviously, it's important. Yeah. Why? Because when we don't control our senses, the sankalpa, vikalpa happens a lot. We make the thought, we cancel the thought. I want this. No, I want this. No, don't have this, have this. Have more, have less. We keep canceling the thought. Whereas if there's discipline, I don't think. Right? Like sometimes when I'm offering someone and they say, I'm fasting. End of conversation. How much you want? Do you want this flavor? Do you want that flavor? Do you want to have it later? Do you want none later? Fasting. Cannot have. Finish. In my thinking also, it's finish. That thought is not entertained. Which thought? Thought of food. But fasting with food is only one fasting. We need to fast with all 5 sense organs. Fast with our eyes means Netflix, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Fast. 1 day, 2 days, 1 week, fast. Then all these smelly things. What smelly things? Soaps, shampoos, candles. What else? Creams. Yeah. So much we have in today's world. Everything scented. Yeah. Only if you're allergic, then you have to get the unscented. Otherwise, everything scented. Softener, soap, everything scented. Fascination and indulgence of our sense pleasures. And fast. No need. Control of senses actually is just basically living a life of discipline. First step in spirituality and everyday living, live in discipline. Have some kind of restraint on what it is we do. And the best way to do that is follow our duties, do what we're supposed to do. So sankalpa is when we think, vikalpa is when we cancel. And so to be able to let go of the thoughts that anyway we're going to cancel. Does that make sense? The ones that we keep playing with. Will I, won't I, will I, won't I? Those thoughts, just don't start them only. Sankalpa can also get translated as desire. Give up all desires. Well, that's also said often enough in the Gita. But maybe the finer tuning of the understanding is not desire necessarily here. Okay, we're going to pause here. Any questions?
Swamini ji, my question is, sometimes as Sakshi, we verbalize. Isn't there a bit of a danger between being a Sakshi and verbalizing?
Well, verbalizing is not the Sakshi. Actually, Sakshi will watch verbalizing, but it takes a bit of practice before we can be able to separate verbalizing and Sakshi. Like that's why I said when we're watching the breath, we have to become aware of the gap. The thing is, we're not aware of the gap. So we think we are doing, or we are it. I am the voice in my head that is verbalizing. Whereas actually I'm not the voice in my head that is verbalizing. I am the seer. The voice in my head that's verbalizing is the seen. And there's the small gap of seeing, which is there between the seer and the seen. But I'm not yet aware of that gap. And because verbalizing is my self-talk, I really identify with it. It's me. That's me talking to myself. And so there's strong identification with verbalizing.
Thank you.
Then so we watch, we create Sakshi with the other things like breath, like japa. Because breath and japa, we can really create a sense of Sakshi and difference between me, the seer, the seen, and the gap of seeing then we slowly bring it to our own inner voice and self-talk as well. And it takes a little bit of learning of the skill. And that's why we learn the skill. And that's why japa, that's why when I started the chapter, I said japa. Japa is really, really the best way to learn the skill. It's the best way of learning the skill of concentration. It's the best way of learning the skill of purity. It's the best way of learning the skill of being sakshi. Because japa is very, very concrete. It's got association with the higher and the divine. It's got a sense of purity and sanctity. And so in that mood of japa, the mind automatically becomes sattvic. In a sattvic frame of mind, I am more likely to be able to have sakshi bhav and stay in awareness. And I didn't do it today, but actually japa should be our default setting for meditation. Maybe I'll start with that next week if somebody reminds me.
That'll be great. Thank you, Swamiji.
Somebody, I have to remind me because I won't remember.
Swamiji, you
Yes.
said not to make any sankalpas, but every puja we do, we are asked to make a sankalpa.
Yeah, that's why in this verse I clarified the meaning of sankalpa as sankalpa vikalpa. It's those thoughts that we cancel out. In puja, when we're making sankalpa, we're asking for a resolve. It's a different kind of thought. So yeah, it's those faltu thoughts that anyways we don't want to be thinking, which we ourselves think no need to think. So it's giving up those thoughts. In puja, when we take a sankalpa, it's I want to be closer to Lord. I want more devotion. I want to be able to. Or sometimes in puja, when we take sankalpa, we want a certain thing. I want to get better. I want to get married. I want to have a kid. I want to. So it's in puja, when we're setting sankalpa, it's a goal that I then try to work towards manifesting. I don't want to delete that goal because from a transactional vyavaharic point of view, I need to work towards goal. But here in this verse, I specified it's sankalpa versus vikalpa. It's those should I, shouldn't I, should I, shouldn't I will, no, maybe I won't, I could, no, I don't want to. It's all those kind of thoughts that we are giving up. The word sankalpa can be translated in at least, I think, about 8 different ways, minimum. Even the word atma can be translated in about 5 different ways. So we have to, that's why all the bhashyas, to know the context in which the words are being used. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Kapakave Asatoma Satkamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamada Purnamitam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om